Hello, in this video I'll show you how to harvest and dry lemon thyme. Before harvesting, I always inspect the plant first to see if there's areas where there's dead leaves or sections that need to be pruned off. I prune first to make sure that the plant is healthy and because I never want to remove more than a third of the plant at a time. So if I prune before harvesting, then I can keep an eye on exactly how much of the plant I'm removing and make sure that I don't harvest too much. I don't harvest more than a third at a time because it can take a lot of energy for the plant trying to recover from this loss, and it could actually end up killing the plant. The more that I take for any harvest, the more time I give the plant to recover before harvesting again. When I'm harvesting the lemon thyme, I try to take about a 6-inch section and I cut above the leaf node or where there's a split from two leaves on the stem. This allows the plant to continue growing at this spot. Of course, if your plant is overly bushy and you're trying to trim it back, you can take your harvest from closer to the root. Once you've harvested your lemon thyme, you can use it fresh or you can dry it. If you want to use it fresh, check out a couple videos linked below where I use fresh lemon thyme in my herb roasted chicken and in my pot roast. In this video, I'm going to show you how to dry the lemon thyme. When time allows, I prefer to air dry the lemon thyme. I find this method is best for retaining the potency and flavor of the lemon thyme compared to other methods such as sun drying or drying it in the oven. There's a couple of different options for air drying the lemon thyme. One option is to tie pieces together with string and then hang it up in the air in a cool, dark place where it can dry for at least 2 weeks. This needs to be in a place with low moisture exposure so the herbs don't mold. The second way that I like to air dry the lemon thyme is by using a material that supports the lemon thyme without having to tie each of the pieces. Here I've used this egg crate light diffuser, which I think works great to batch dry multiple herbs at the same time. I've hung up lemon thyme, rosemary, oregano, basil, and other herbs all at the same time. I prefer this to tying large batches of herbs together with one piece of string because I found that when they're tied together like that, they don't dry as well. After about 2 weeks, the lemon thyme should be crisp to the touch and should break easily. If it doesn't, then you can leave it to dry for a few more days. Once the lemon thyme is dry, you can remove it from any support material, or if you have tied it somewhere, you can cut the strings off. Now it's time to remove the dried leaves from the stem. We don't want to keep the stem for any use in baking recipes, so we'll just keep the leaves and pick the stem out. I like to break the leaves off of the stems with my hands, that way I can remove any of the stems if they drop into the bowl. Once you have all your leaves separated, you can keep them sized the way that they are now, or you can break them apart even smaller with a mortar and pestle or even a food processor if you want ground lemon thyme. I do find that the larger the leaves are, the more flavor and potency they retain as they're being stored. So typically I keep the leaves large, and if I'm using it in a recipe that needs them ground later on, I can always make the leaves smaller when needed. You can keep the dried leaves in an airtight container. I'm using an Old Spice container because I know that it's a great container to keep herbs fresh. These can stay fresh in the pantry for even up to a full year. As long as there's no mold growing on it, these actually don't really go bad. However, over time, they can start to lose their flavor, so if you notice that, then it might be time to replace your lemon thyme. Thanks for watching this video on how to harvest and dry lemon thyme. Let me know if you have any questions, and as always, like and subscribe to see more content.